Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pitiful Jim here to continue reading, well, Harry Potter. This is part 4, and let's get started. Okay, I said it skip the part with the snake. Oh, okay. No, I think we're on chapter 3. Chapter 3, The Letters from No One. The escape of the Brazilian boa constrictor earned Harry his longest ever punishment. By the time he was allowed to masturbate again, it was the fucking future. During that period, Uncle Vernon's anus began to leak vigorously, and his fluid just began to flood the house. After a month or so, there were 6 feet of anal fluids just floating around in the hallways of the Dursley house. But the Dursleys, they were a very adaptive species. Aunt Petunia went to fucking Walmart. Actually, no, what? She didn't go to Walmart. She went to Target. She won't go to that trashy store. She has to go to her fancy Target. And she bought snorkels so they can get around the house. She didn't buy Harry a snorkel because, they're kind of abusive. But Harry was okay. He was a very buoyant child. So he just kind of floated around, sort of like, a decaying corpse. And he was able to make do. And plus, he was a pretty good swimmer as well. Uh, yeah, he just was a good swimmer and stuff. He definitely wasn't a black man. So, anyway. So, yeah, that went on for a little bit until the Dursleys were like, oh, jeez. I mean, we just can't live like this anymore. So they called the plumber. He wasn't very happy about this. They just told him the sink was clogged, and when he opened the door, just a flood of anal fluid just went all over him. And he wasn't too proud of it because he was wearing his Sunday best, which is kind of odd for somebody doing a plumbing job. But hey, I guess that's just how he rolls. So of course he wasn't happy about it. And once he got the job fixed, he charged extra. And Uncle Vernon was like, no, I'm not paying this. And the guy was like, well, you know what? You could. You might not have to pay this if you can make it worth my while, if you know what I mean. And he was pointing to Aunt Petunia, but Uncle Vernon thought he meant him. And Uncle Vernon was like, just ripped off all his clothes. He's like, okay, I'm ready for you, big boy. And the plumber was like, oh, no, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about your fine-ass wife. And Uncle Vernon was like, well, this is an awkward moment. Especially this huge boner I'm getting right now. It definitely makes the scene a lot more awkward. And the plumber's like, I can't see it. Your fupa, I think, is covering it up. And this made Uncle Vernon very upset. He was like, oh, don't talk about my fupa in public. I'm very embarrassed by it. And the plumber's like, okay, I'm really sorry, man. And Uncle Vernon's like, okay, I'll just sign the check. Just don't come back. Don't come back. Okay? Just don't come back. So the plumber's like, okay. And he took his his check. He cashed it in and blew it all at Vegas, and then he got depressed, and then his wife divorced him. So that plumber's life just was destroyed just from that one moment. But back to Uncle Vernon, he was still very upset about this stuff. So upset that he couldn't shit he couldn't shit for months. You know, which I guess that's how he copes with the pain. It's kind of interesting, but we won't look into the matter. That's something a psychologist should do. But Harry was loving every moment of it because without Uncle Vernon shitting in the toilet, Harry could fucking play battleships in the fucking toilet. He just dropped his whole collection of, fucking Hot Wheel cars in the toilets, and he just play battleships in there. Just like this, and just bang them together. But Aunt Petunia wasn't having any of this shit, and she was like, Harry, you need to get a fucking job. And Harry's like, why? Why do I need a job? I'm 11 years old. And she's like, Harry, I've seen you in the shower, and let's just say you have potential. And Harry's like, potential to do what? Be a gay fireman in space? And she's like, yeah. And a prostitute. And Harry was like, "Oh, can I be a gay fireman in space prostitute? Like that can be like my sort of thing, for people who have fetishes like that." And Aunt Petunia was like, "I think you're more of the naughty police officer." But okay. But Harry's like, "But can I be in space? Like, can I be a naughty police officer with a space helmet?" And she's like, "As long as you can maintain that erection for 6 hours, yes, you can." And Harry was like, "Oh my god, my dream is coming true. I'm going to be a gigolo." But before Harry could take up his career as being a gigolo, a whole bunch of fucking letters came from the gay mailman named Stefano. Uh, Uncle Vernon really didn't like getting the letters from Stefano because he just kept them shoved in his gigantic ass. Stefano was rather obese for a gay guy. There's not too many of them, and his ass was huge, so there was like 50 letters in there, and Uncle Vernon had to get the fucking pooper scooper, and he had to like scoop them out, generally. I know Uncle Vernon likes gay guys, but let's just say he was a gay guy with standards, okay? You can't have a fucking, Tonka fucking, I don't know. Let's just say you can't have a fucking hippopotamus butt if you want to be with Uncle Vernon. So all you gay people who watch this show, just know that for future references. So Uncle Vernon grabbed the letters. He started reading them. Well, he wasn't reading them. He was just kind of, staring at them. He never learned how to read. Yeah, he lived a very troubled childhood. I mean, that childhood obesity really got him in school and he couldn't pay attention. And of course, the teacher just didn't care. She was just like, she didn't understand his problems. Probably because, she wasn't getting paid enough and all that BS. So Uncle Vernon had a hard life. But Harry, of course, for some reason could read, even though he was locked in a cupboard for all his life. Surprised he can even talk. So he read it and he's like, okay, I'm invited to this school called Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And Uncle Vernon was just like, I knew that because I read it. And Harry's like, no, Uncle Vernon, I know you didn't read it. And started to shed a tear. And Harry's like, it's okay, Uncle Vernon. I understand. I too have a dark secret about myself. And Uncle Vernon is like, yeah, what is that? He's like, when I shit, well, Harry was like, when I shit, it doesn't come out like as a nice, long kind of tube-like thing. It comes out like rabbit poops and stuff, It's pretty embarrassing, Like, back at that school you sent me, they used to call me Rabbit Man because, my poops, like I said, just looked like rabbits. It's kind of surprising they would, take the time to stare at my feces after I made it in the toilet, but I guess it was a pastime for them. British kids, they're pretty fucking weird. And Uncle Vernon was like, wow, Harry, you taught me things that I never knew. This is an awkward conversation. And Harry was like, not as awkward as that boner you got, Uncle Vernon. This made Uncle Vernon very happy. But Harry was lying, though. He couldn't see the boner beneath the fupa. He just took an educated guess. And he struck gold, and he and Uncle Vernon became best of friends. I mean, every night they would watch the Discovery Channel together, and their favorite show was How It's Made, for some reason. In fact, they're the only people who watch that show. I don't know why anybody else would watch that show. Mythbusters is a far superior show, but in my opinion, a little overrated. And since it's been going on for 9 minutes, I think that should be part 4. Alrighty, we'll get on to part 5 when he actually goes to school. And maybe Hagrid will make an appearance. You know what? Hagrid will definitely make an appearance. Alright, peace.